I'm what you could call a collector of bootleg Pokemon games. Pokemon Diamond and Jade, Chaos Black, etc. It's an amazing frequency in which you can find them at pawn shops, Goodwill, flea markets, and such. They're generally fun, even if they are unplayable, which often they are. The mistranslations and poor quality make them unintentionally humorous. I've been able to find most of the ones I've played online, but there's one I haven't seen any mention of. I bought it at a flea market about 5 years ago. Here's a picture of the cartridge, in case anyone recognizes it. Unfortunately, when I moved 2 years ago, I lost the game, so I can't provide you with any screen caps. Sorry. The game started with the familiar Nidorino and Gengar intro of the Red and Blue version. However, the press start screen had been altered. Red was there, but the Pokemon did not cycle through. It was also called Black version under the Pokemon logo. Upon selecting New Game, the game started with the Professor Oak speech, and it quickly became evident that the game was essentially Pokemon Red version. After selecting your starter, if you looked at your Pokemon, you had, in addition to Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, another Pokemon. Ghost. The Pokemon was level 1. It had the sprite of the ghosts that were encountered in Lavender Tower. This was, of course, before obtaining the Swift Scope. It had one attack. Curse. I know that there is a real move named Curse, but the attack did not exist in Generation 1. So it appears it was hacked in. Defeating Pokemon were unable to attack Ghost. It would only say that they were too scared to move. When the move Curse was used in battle, the screen would cut to black. The cry of the defending Pokemon would be heard, but it was distorted, played in a much lower pitch than normal. The battle screen would then reappear, and the defending Pokemon would be gone. If used in a battle against a trainer, when the Pokeballs representing their Pokemon would appear in the corner, they would have one less Pokeball. The implication was that the Pokemon died. What's even stranger is that after defeating a trainer and seeing Red received $200 for winning, the battle commands would then appear again. If you selected Run, then the battle would end normally. However, you could also select Curse. If you did, upon returning to the overworld, the trainer's sprite would be gone. After leaving and re-entering the area, the spot where the trainer would have been is now replaced with a tombstone, like the ones at Lavender Tower. The move Curse was not usable in all instances. It would fail against Ghost Pokemon. It would also fail if it was used against trainers that you would have to face again, such as your rival or Giovanni. It was usable in your final battle against them, however. I figured this was a gimmick of the game, allowing you to use the previously uncapturable ghosts. And because Curse made the game so easy, I essentially used it throughout the whole adventure. The game changed quite a bit after defeating the Elite Four. After viewing the Hall of Fame, which consisted of Ghost and a couple of Pokemon I used for HMs, the screen cut to black. A box would then appear with words. Many years later. It then cut to Lavender Tower. An old man was standing, looking at tombs. You then realized that this man was your character. The man only moved half as your normal walking speed. You no longer had any Pokemon with you, not even Ghost, who, up to this point, had been impossible to remove from your party, even if you tried through the PC. The overworld was empty. There was no people at all. There were still the tombstones of all the trainers you used Cursed on, however. You could pretty much go anywhere in the overworld. Though your moveset was limited by the fact you had no Pokemon to use HMs. And regardless of where you went, the music of Lavender Town continued in an infinite loop. After wandering around for a while, I found that if you go through Diglett's cave, one of the cuttable bushes that would normally block the path on the other side was no longer there, allowing you to advance and return to Pallet Town. Upon entering your house and going to the exact tile of where you started your game, the screen would then cut to black. Then a sprite of a Caterpie appeared. It was then replaced by a Weedle, and then a Pidgey. I soon realized, as the Pokemon progressed from the Rattata to Blastoise, that these were all the Pokemon that I had cursed. Throughout the sequence, the Lavender Town music was playing, but it slowly decreased in pitch. By the time your rival appeared on screen, it was a little more than a demonic rumble. Another cut to black. A few moments later, the battle screen suddenly appeared. Your trainer was the sprite of the old man who had taught you how to capture a Pokemon from Viridian City. Ghost appeared on the other side, along with the words, "Ghost wants to fight." You couldn't use items. You had no Pokemon. If you tried to run, you couldn't escape. The only option was fight. Using fight immediately caused you to use struggle, which didn't affect Ghost, but clipped off a bit of your own HP. When it was Ghost's turn to attack, it would simply say, ... Eventually, when your HP reached a critical point, Ghost would finally use Curse. Regardless of any buttons you pressed, you were permanently stuck in this black screen. At this point, the only thing you could do was turn the Game Boy off. When you played again, New Game was the only option. The game had erased its own save file. The screen would then cut to black one final time. I've played through this hat game many, many times, and every time the game ended with the sequence. Several times I didn't use Ghost at all, though he was impossible to remove from the party. In these cases, it didn't show any Pokemon or trainers, and simply cut to the climactic battle with Ghost. I'm not sure what the motives were behind the creator of this hack. It wasn't widely distributed, so it was presumably not for monetary gain. It was very well done for a bootleg. It seems he was trying to convey a message, though it seems I am the sole receiver of this message. I'm not entirely sure what it was. The inevitability of death? The pointlessness of it? Perhaps he was simply trying to morbidly inject death and darkness into a children's game. Regardless, this children's game has made me think, and it has made me cry.